Daniel's Dread Tales is a show for grown-ups. It may contain adult language and adult themes. Please check the episode description for content warnings.
Last time on Eternal Lies, with a concrete lead on one of the cult higher-ups, the investigators closed in on his manor only to find no sign of the man in question. Instead, they uncovered notes detailing occult operations across the globe, a den of depravity, and the root of the nectar operation. A hideous mouth sprouting from the floor, delighting in the debauchery surrounding it. The encounter left a mark on all of the investigators who fled the scene, but none more so than Dr. Morgan, who barely made it out alive thanks to the bravery of J.B. Falk. In no rush for a repeat performance, the crew returns to the estates of Ms. Winston-Rogers to report in, lick their wounds, and plan their next steps. The die is cast, the pact is sealed, and may God have mercy on our souls. It's Daniel's Dread Tales.
I'm your game master, Daniel Fernandez, he, him.
I'm Damien, he, they. I will be playing Reginald Kilworth.
I'm Nathan, and I am playing J.B. Falk, a writer.
I'm Russell, they, them, and I'll be playing Collin, Kane, Private Eye.
I'm Renee, she, they, and I will be playing Dr. Kane Morgan, she, her.
All right, so it's been a little over a week since you guys went to Trammell's mansion and saw the mouth and the orgy and the worst stuff that you'd maybe ever seen.
So far.
So far. Yes, you're right, JB. It can always get worse. You make your way back to New York to see Miss Winston-Rogers. And while you give her a quick debrief of what you saw, I don't know who heads that up, maybe JB, who's been taking most of the notes. You're given some time to recover. Specifically, Kay, you are rushed to a goddamn hospital.
That makes total sense, yes.
Because you almost died. You're covered in burns. You're still going to have some burn marks on you when this is all over, probably, or some sort of scarring.
Are you saying our wealthy patron doesn't have a doctor who makes house calls?
This is going to be more than house calls for what happened to Kay.
Fair enough.
Kay's going to need extensive treatment. The rest of you probably could maybe get some house calls from Miss Winston-Rogers associates. But what do we think each of your character gets up to in the week or so while you're getting ready to go on the next leg of your adventure? Collin, do you know what you're up to?
Colin's checking in with a mother of a friend of his.
Okay. Who is this friend or mother?
The mother's name is May, the friend's name was Tom.
Ah. And Tom was a
childhood friend. He went away to the war and came back a little off.
Ooh. Okay. And just give me, we don't need to play out the whole scene, but give me like some snippets. What are you doing when you're seeing May?
I think there's a lot of regret and reminiscing. Tom has passed recently under not so great circumstances.
Gotcha. And how does this help you feel better?
Weirdly enough, just feeling the guilt and acknowledging that he's a piece of shit for some reason just makes Collin feel better.
When Collin feels bad, he feels better. Okay. Interesting. Well, we might need to learn more about your sordid past at some point, but...
Some point.
So Collin has a shame kink?
It's not a kink.
Yeah.
He has shame. Actual shame.
But it makes him feel better, so I think that's where the kink idea is coming from. But I think it's just shame. It's so natural to you at this point that if you're not feeling shame or not thinking about it, you feel a little weird.
Well, it's self-flagellation. I feel bad, so I need to hurt myself to feel better.
If I may make a suggestion here, feeling shame is better than feeling nothing at all.
Yeah, there's that as well.
That's very true. All right. J.B. Falk, what do you do to make yourself feel a little bit better, or anything else you think you get up to when you are killing time for about a week?
Damn the book this is gonna make.
You're saying this is going to make a good book. Are you starting to write?
Yeah,
Okay.
I absolutely the fuck am.
Do you have, like, maybe an editor you talk to, or a publisher, or anything that you pitch to?
Yeah, I do have a publisher. That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely gonna have to clear the supernatural elements ahead of time.
So your stories have not had supernatural elements up until now.
Not that much, no.
So they've been noiry detective stories, but they haven't been supernatural.
Unless I have said something in the past to contradict that, yes.
I don't believe you've done. I guess one more question. Is this going to be a continuation of your, like, Alex Casey stories, or is this going to be a new story?
You know, this might be a little too weird for Casey.
Ah, gotcha.
Follow-up question. Is Alex Casey a self-insert?
Oh, 100%.
Very nice.
Gotcha.
Are all of Falk's characters self-inserts? Like protagonist characters?
And the romantic interests.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
It's a respected literary tradition. I don't know if it started with Dante, but it...
Yeah, no, like, Dante's Inferno was absolutely self-insert fan fiction. I was actually just about to bring that up, and then
And
you
Divine
did too.
Comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, me and my pal Virgil, we went to
Yeah.
the 9 Circles of Hell.
Yeah, Virgil, who's, just this guy, a poet you get to meet and hang out with.
Yeah, and he says, I'm so awesome.
Yeah. And then Kirk and Spock both make out with me.
Be still my heart.
I hear this Alex Casey guy is shredded. I hear he's got like an 8-pack.
And an enormous...
Kay, you are not going to be going around seeing too many people. You're mostly going to be recovering in the hospital. Technically, rules as written, I believe that you need to be in the hospital for 8 days after what happened to you.
I do have a person in mind who could be visiting me.
Who is it?
Kearns.
Oh, Kearns, the pilot.
Yes. Because, well, I am a long way from home, and I'd honestly rather not worry my elderly father, who's spending his retirement tending to bees and stuff. What's Kearns' first name?
Frank. It's Frank Kearns.
Yeah, so, I can't imagine that we would connect over our love of antiquity or scientific progress, but perhaps he would have an Epicurean streak to him.
Well, the thing he's sort of interested in, he's not less so interested in antiquities, but he does want to travel the world. He is fascinated in that. He's done some piloting out of North America, and he thought that was always really exciting to see the world.
And as an anthropologist, like, we have deep conversations about it.
Great.
And even get to first name basis.
You do story time with Kearns.
That's
Sure.
great. Kearns feels bad. He blames himself for how injured you got, even though clearly not his fault in any way, shape, or form.
I'd imagine it was quite a shock for him when JB brought my nearly dead body onto the plane.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when he first was checking on you, it was sort of out of a guilt feeling, but he is feeling, it's a little bit of connection there.
Mm-hmm.
He fell asleep in the hospital a couple times, but he's able to sleep anywhere. He's pretty good at that. The thing
Fair
that you
enough.
notice about him, though, is he never quite laughs.
Mm.
He always, will give a smile or give, a huh, but he'll never quite get to laughing. I don't know why, but that's just something I'm saying about Kearns.
Interesting.
Oh, and his nose is broken once. There's a little bit about Kearns. We should make him more of a character so I can threaten his life later and everyone can feel sad about it. So that we should flesh out our character.
Dan, if you say that about every character, it's not going to work.
The game master who cried wolf.
You'll see.
I think Collin goes to check in on Kay as well, but it's a lot more about reassuring himself than it is about checking in on Kay. Just an extension of the self-flagellation.
I'd imagine you all come at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reg would definitely stop by.
There you go.
What else do we think Reg would be getting up to?
Reg's cousin, Tracy, lives in New York, actually.
Okay.
She's in the theater. She does a lot of off-Broadway stuff. During this 8 days, Reg would have gone to visit her and probably watch whatever play she is in at the time.
Okay, that's great. And I guess my question is, I know you have a love of reading horrible tomes that you probably shouldn't be reading. Have you been reading horrible tomes you probably shouldn't have been reading?
Yes.
Have you been the one who's been leading up the reading of Trammell's Testament?
Yeah, I've been putting more work into that than the scary book. The scary book is more of a hobby currently.
Gotcha.
Most people's hobbies don't actively damage their own sanity. Actually, I can't say that. I build Gunpla. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I do this podcast. No.
And I edit this podcast.
I'll tell you a little bit. As you've been going through the Testament, I won't make you make a stability check right now. We'll make that for the other book. As you are going through it, you find a couple of leads to various places. References to some cult activity in Bangkok, in Mexico City. But one in particular strikes your interest, and it's speaking about something that's going on in Malta.
So yeah, I'll definitely look more into that one.
Note to the listener, if you want to know more about the 3 different places, or I guess 4 different places, the team was able to choose to go to, and a little bit more information about them, we had a little out-of-character conversation about it in the Los Angeles breakdown episode that we did. It should have came out on April 1st. I think that should be the episode right above this in the feed. So check that out, especially the first part of it. The second part of it...
Yeah, something happened there.
Something weird happened there. Don't worry about it. We are going to be investigating what's going on in Malta. I will give you the quick version, or not the quick version, the more detailed version, and then we'll have you have shared this information with the gang. It is a little writing about trying to figure out how to get greater yields of the emanations from the most holy orifices of the thing with 1,000 mouths.
Greater yields of mouth goo. Got it.
Yes.
There's even more holy orifices?
I hate the way these things are described.
Yeah.
Every time they're described, I hate it.
Yeah. It largely proposes a series of particular and depraved acts that would theoretically be pleasing to the thing with 1,000 mouths, and therefore stimulate additional nectar production. But no hard data is provided, except for one. The only real evidence that they have is from a particular experiment conducted by Montgomery Donovan in Malta that demonstrates that a potent sacrifice can multiply by many times the blessings of our God's emanations. You see also attached to this is a record of daily nectar production coming out of the city of Valletta, which is kind of the only real city on the island of Malta. The production seems to be consistent up to a particular point, and then it triples.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh, that can't
be good. No.
Yeah. And it seems to be about a week before you first met with Miss Winston-Rogers.
Alrighty.
Oh, fun.
So that would have been, what, a month ago at this point?
About a month ago, yeah.
So they made their mouth happy about a month ago.
Not going to think about that too hard.
When did Miss Winston-Rogers' father pass?
About a month before she contacted you.
Okay.
Well, no, you were contacted later, Miss K, but the other 3 were contacted about a month after her father's death.
I was just thinking about where Miss Winston-Rogers' father in all of this, because I have some theories, but they're probably all wrong.
Those are the best kind of theories.
Well, I mean, according to the information that we have, he was trying to break this whole thing up.
Well, he was until everything went bad at the barn, and then he started burning all of his notes and never wanted to think about it again.
As happens to
understandable.
Have
a nice day.
Yeah. No, he was supposed to save the world, and he didn't. And now you're in the world that is doomed. So have fun with that.
He was supposed to save the world and said, fuck that noise.
Yeah. Anyway, now that we've seen what everybody else has been getting up to, we're going to see all of you getting back together in the hangar that Miss Winston-Rogers has set up. You'd seen it before, the one that's part hangar, part office. She has added some chairs now so everybody could take a seat. Kearns is working on the plane. He is not serving drinks this time because he seems to be making some modifications to it.
Ooh.
Well, I was wondering if we were all going to make it back here.
Yes, I'm glad to see that you're all recovered. Miss Morgan, in particular, or I guess, is it Dr. Morgan?
Either is fine. I rather prefer doctor.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad that you're feeling better, all of you. If what you say is true, I am not going to lie. It is a little difficult dealing with what you have told me has happened.
Well, I found it hard to believe when I was in the room with it.
I'm sure. This thing is a threat to everyone. I just wanted to know that my father doesn't really matter anymore. This is so much more than I thought.
Miss Winston-Rogers, if I may.
Yes.
When your father stopped his pursuits, I feel like some of us may have jumped to judgment all too easily, but after what I've seen, if I was alone, let's just say we cannot blame your father for giving up.
Oh, he wasn't alone either.
Oh, he wasn't alone?
No.
Oh, fuck my life. Never mind. Scrap the whole thing.
No, he was part of a crew. 2 of the members of the crew died, and one of them is in an insane asylum in Savannah.
Never mind, scrap the whole thing. Sorry about that.
Can I ask you to keep it up? Find what is happening here. This thing with 1,000 mouths, I think it came into the world that night at that barn. Maybe not all the way? What you said about the barn is still confusing. I don't understand. You said there were multiple symbols? Looking at these clues you've given me, I don't quite understand.
There was a couch with a mouth as well.
Yes.
The nectar was being traded before that night, so something must have been here before.
I guess that makes sense, yes. I don't know. At least this cult threatens the world. I don't know how far it reaches. They're operating in Los Angeles seemingly with impunity. That city has gone to shit. But now, who knows how far their activities range. I have money and some connections. I will try to support you as much as I can, and I will do my own research. It's always good when rich people say they're going to do their own research. It's never led to any problems.
Nah, not at all.
In our great nation? Of course not.
Yes, but I must ask you to continue your efforts. If there's anything that you need that I can provide, I will do so.
Well, you say that. Is there any chance I could have a friend sent to you for safekeeping?
Are they threatened by the cult?
From the sounds of it, everybody is, but they know my name, and it won't take much digging to find her.
Yes, of course. Give me the details. Who is this woman? Is this a lover of yours?
Family friend. Her name's May. Older lady. I'm sure you two will get on famous.
All right. Well, give me the address and you could, trade the information.
101 Fake Street.
Yeah. I'll speak with her. I will see if I could have at least my people keep an eye on her, and maybe we could bring her in. I don't know how long this is going to take until it's
done.
We can't really blame your father and his crew for giving up, to be perfectly honest, after what we've seen. But we may or may not be a little bit better equipped than they were.
They seemed pretty well equipped, but they weren't able to handle it.
Succeed or fail, I still want to try.
I suppose that's all we can do.
I might be insane for saying this, but I am willing to try as well.
Well, I wish you luck. I would offer you a prayer, but
After what we saw that day, I don't think God's listening.
he certainly seems far away if he ever was there. From what I heard earlier, your plan was to head to Malta. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. We've equipped the plane for a transatlantic flight. We'll be on our way. Well, you'll be on your way shortly. I wish I could come with you. I still need to tend to the business here, at least for now.
And let's be clear, you're the one paying us for doing this for you, so.
Yes, but I hope you're not just doing this for money.
Not at this point, no.
To be frank, very few people should take on a suicide mission for the money.
Suicide mission? What? I want out.
That wasn't in character, right? You didn't actually say that, right?
I used the character voice, but absolutely not. That would be really weird.
Okay.
Yeah, I sort of cringe a little bit, because bedside manner who, am I right?
Yeah, she thinks she's being funny. I think
Okay.
bedside
She
manner
thinks
might
she's
not be.
being funny. We all look at her aghast.
Yeah.
Not aghast, just...
Well, maybe it sounds like some of you aghast. Well, I will leave you to your work. Can I hold on to that book you found? That testament that Trammell wrote?
I'm sure nothing bad would come of that.
It would probably not be in your best interest to go through it.
I concur. This volume is extremely upsetting, Ms. Winston-Rogers.
Upsetting is a mild way to put it.
I really must insist. I want to be able to help. And there's very little I can do from here in New York, but if I could read this and maybe cross-reference with some other books, I have access to some occult texts myself. We could find something.
With assess honesty, is she giving off the vibe of having ulterior motives?
No! I think she legitimately feels like she wants to help. She wants to keep doing what her father was doing. Like, there is a passion here. It is a passion for the occult. Honestly, Reggie, you recognize a desire to know the secrets of the world that you sort of had for yourself.
I know.
Friendship.
I know.
I mostly recognize the passion for learning and also the desire to be useful. And I look at Reggie and I sort of nod encouragingly.
Give her the book, Reg. She's the client.
We may need this going forward, so we may have to retrieve them.
Well, I would hope that you could make it back here after your expedition in Malta. If anything happens to the plane, we could get you a boat. I'm sorry, I don't even know why I would say that. I'll see you when you get back.
You motherfucker.
I know that you got many books from both UCLA and Trammell's library as well. Would you like those stored here? We could also store them on the plane, I suppose.
I would rather have those on the plane with us,
All right.
if you don't mind. I'm not finished cataloging.
Absolutely. I understand.
I will warn you, though. I understand that you want to learn the secrets in those tomes. Please don't take me lightly when I say tread carefully.
I can handle a lot, Mr. Kilworth.
Deep eye contact, saxophone swell, cut to next scene.
We see the plane flying across the ocean. Reggie, have you read through one of those tomes that I showed you? Are you going to get the benefits and negatives from reading one of these books?
Yes, Fishing the River of Stars. Fishing the River of Stars.
I was about to fucking say.
Can't read Fisting the River of Stars. Christ almighty. We cannot. I know we're investigating a weird sex cult that's going to try to destroy the world. But
Okay. You've heard of noodling, right?
we have to stop. We have to stop. The biggest thing that you find out is that the legendary engineer Zhang Xixun, who served Emperor Taizu of the Song, was serviced by a council of, quote, 3-mouthed advisors, each of which was said to speak with 3 tongues and balance the words of one hand against the other, which is, like, weirdly cryptic. And there are other weird descriptions as well of some stuff going on here. And also stuff about liquid mercury and learning about that from the 3-mouthed things as well. that's about it. There's just a bunch of weird stuff. Honey of the hummingbirds corrupting blood. Honestly, you don't quite get anything quote-unquote useful, at least not immediately, out of it.
Though apparently it supports the legend that Taizong killed his brother to inherit the throne, so...
Yes.
I learned something about history.
Yeah, there are other books as well. We could start looking at other books. I also need to give you the list of books that you stole from Trammell as well.
Yes.
Turns out it's just a bunch of graphic novels.
Again?
Just a bunch of manga.
Every time, I swear to God. You try and steal some tomes or whatever, and...
It's just the full run of Love Hina.
Yeah, you're reading it and you're like, Christ, this is driving me insane. It's just not quite porn. It seems to be almost porn happening at any time, and it's never quite happening. As you are making your way towards Malta, does anybody feel like their character would know about Malta?
I probably would know something.
You would know something? All right.
Yes, which is tricky considering Renee knows next to nothing.
All right. I guess that's the other question. Hey, the city of Los Angeles was a city in the United States. While I probably know more about Los Angeles than you folks, because I live in Los Angeles, I kind of get the idea. It's a city in the United States. We are now going to Malta. What do you guys know about the island of Malta?
It's next to Italy, like
Yes.
real close there.
Yeah. It's below the thing that the boot is kicking, if we're looking at Italy.
Awesome.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Malta is a small little island. At this point, it is ruled by the British, and it was a fortress ruled over by the Knights. I always forget how you say it. Is it the Knights Hospitaller?
Hospitalier?
Hospitalier, yes. They took over the island and made it a fortress, and indeed fought back the Ottomans there, and were able to defeat them in a battle that was actually like a pretty impressive victory over the Ottomans. Their order eventually renamed themselves the Knights of Malta, because this was the island that they held onto. They were chilling there for a while until Napoleon stabbed them in the back and stole the island from them.
Classic Napoleon move.
Classic Napoleon. Look, well, we don't need to get into it. I kind of like a lot of the stuff. Napoleon ain't all that bad. He's kind of an interesting dude. Get more of Daniel saying, I like these problematic historical figures.
That's how you know that you're a historian.
Well,
What else are you supposed to like?
It could be worse.
No kidding.
So between 1915 and 1918, during the First World War, Malta became known as the Nurse of Mediterranean due to the large number of wounded soldiers who were accommodated here.
Yes. Malta was known for having a lot of wounded soldiers during the First World War.
Mm-hmm.
It is now kind of a tourist destination. It is currently controlled by the British. They took it back from Napoleon at one point. The Knights of Malta are no longer, really there. But it is a combination tourist destination and also sort of a refueling spot for British ships.
Spoken languages are Maltese and English, and main religion is Catholicism.
Wow. I speak English.
Yes.
I do not think I
Yeah,
speak
you guys
Maltese.
didn't go to Mexico City where everybody was going to speak Spanish. You went to a place where everybody still speaks English, so that's probably a good step.
I have 4 points in languages, so Spanish is probably a language that I know.
I have 4 points in accounting.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers are the universal language.
I mean,
Right.
You're not wrong.
So here is my question for you. You land in Malta. It's a lovely city, bustling. There are some places where you could get a hotel room. What are you going to do to find the cult?
We land in the capital,
Yeah, you land in Valletta,
Valletta.
which
Okay.
is the main city where... I keep saying Malta, but your investigations will probably be mostly centered in Valletta.
No, weird how that works.
Excuse me, Valletta? I've heard it both Valletta and Valletta.
So the Maltese language is a Semitic language, which includes Arabic and Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
I probably don't necessarily speak Maltese, but I do have some languages. Could I, if I spoke either Hebrew or Arabic, could I make some connections and kind of understand what the natives are saying?
You could, though most of the people here now just speak English.
Okay.
But yes, you could absolutely spend a point to be able to understand the Maltese language.
Good stuff.
So you land at the airport. Kearns asks, so before I was ready to take off and help you escape, do you want me to be ready for that again? Do you want me to try to guard your hotel room? I'm here to help you guys out. I don't want what happened before to happen again. Especially to you, Dr. Morgan.
All right, a little patronizing, but whatever.
Well, keep a fire extinguisher handy, I suppose.
The last thing I want is to put you in danger, Mr. Kearns, but I don't think guarding our hotel room is necessarily a bad idea.
Okay.
What do you gentlemen think?
Yeah, I was going to say that we should probably all get rooms in the same hotel again. Yeah, Kearns, you can just keep an eye on things while we're out.
It makes it easy to contact you as well.
Yeah, I don't want you to get, raided again. Yeah. Okay. I could do that. I could even try to get you set up with a hotel in town if you want me to figure that out. You think of trying to go to a fancy place, a low-key place? What are we thinking?
Low-key would probably be best.
The lower key, the better. We're talking soprano here.
Isn't soprano
is
really
very
key?
high. That's the highest of keys.
Yeah, that's the...
Yeah, basso.
Wait, what's alto then? What's alto then?
It's soprano, alto, tenor, bass.
There we
go. Them going down.
So, our goal here is sub-bass, but we'll settle for bass if we have to.
That's exactly it, JP. Find us a sub-basement.
Point of order, there is also baritone and mezzo soprano.
Yes. But so you find a cheap hotel near the waterfront, but not near the nice part of the waterfront, near the loading docks.
It smells like fish guts.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm getting flashbacks to that room.
Oh, God.
How do you intend to stop the cult here? Because as you look around, seems like a normal city. It seems a little less sophisticated than Los Angeles. You see more goats walking the street here than you would in Los Angeles. People are generally dressed in what would be considered sort of normal European fashions, though the women wear a distinctive, big black sort of hat that covers their head. It's part scarf. I'm having trouble describing it. Google Maltese women's hats if you really want to know.
It's like a hood out of Dune.
It is kind of like a hood out of Dune. That is not inaccurate.
That's actually...
I would describe it as a cousin to what Pyramid Head is wearing.
A little bit, too.
Also, Dr. Morgan is absolutely horrified that they're drinking goat milk straight out of the teat.
It's the freshest you could get it.
Blech. Blech.
What's our first step, gang?
Well, let's go get brunch.
Yeah.
Sure, let's fucking... let's eat.
We can't talk about our plan over some food.
Yes.
That does seem to be the typical plan. So you get checked into a small hotel. Kearns says he's going to keep an eye on the place. You head to a little open-air cafe. While you're sitting there, the wind carries the smell of spices and tea down from an open window. Somebody you hear up there is idly plucking a guitar. Things at the moment couldn't seem chiller in Malta. This seems like a really nice place. Even in Los Angeles, the weather was very nice there, but there's the homelessness problem and all that. This seems like almost a paradise.
Minus all the goats. Anyway.
Hi, this is Daniel, and I'm here for a sad announcement. After 2 years of Daniel's Dread Tales, we're going to have to start asking you for money. You see, we all have day jobs, and as we continue to work to improve the show, the expenses do add up. We've upgraded 3 mics, a few computer components, and got ourselves a website, just to name a few things. And throughout this entire time, Nathan's laptop has been making truly concerning noises. So when it eventually explodes...
Past tense. Laptop has exploded.
We might not be able to hear from Nathan for a while. So please check out our donate link, which is on our link tree. We would really appreciate if you donate. Though, if you'd like not to donate, we love all our listeners equally. Maybe we like the ones who give us money a little bit more, though. Come on,
Hey, Theo, you got a sec? Oh, hey, Kane. What's up?
Well, me and some of the others were thinking things around the Friendship Factory could be a little better, for the workers.
I mean, sure, but what can we do about it?
Well, honestly, we thought it would be a good idea if everyone got together and started...
A podcast?
What?
Kane, that's a great idea. I mean, what would be better for our fellow workers than to raise their spirits with a podcast about the insane internet phenomenon that was My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic?
Actually, we were thinking about forming a union.
Like, we can summarize the show episode by episode for all the people who hadn't watched it and see how our opinions on it have changed over the course of 10 years.
That sounds like fun, but I'd prefer dental.
And of course, we can commiserate about our cringy fandom memories, like the strange terminology surrounding plot and clop, or that time you played a Pinkie Pie song for your entire orchestra class.
You did what?
Yeah, Kane, I think this is it. I think we've got to start a podcast. You in?
If I say yes, will you join our fucking union?
Of course! Join us at the Friendship Factory, where every 2 weeks, these former bronies will have another pair of MLP episodes to review, discuss,
and maybe cause psychic damage from bringing up ancient fandom brain rot.
Ooh, yeah, big time.
Anyway, find us on your podcatcher of choice, and give us a follow on Blue Sky and Tumblr while you're at it. And remember, friendship is...
worth it if it means trading away our health insurance.
Theo.
What?
The gulls are kind of annoying too, just the seagulls flying around. Though maybe you like the sound, I don't know.
No. Anyway, we have a name, Montgomery Donovan. What do we do with that?
Well, do we have any idea what the man does?
Apparently sacrifices things to the fucking mouths. Dr. Morgan doesn't swear, to be clear.
I can't imagine that pays well, although the nectar trade seemed to do all right.
I mean, that's a lead we could probably follow.
Yeah.
Well, Collin, you have experience with unsavory sorts.
Yeah, I suppose I can talk to the local police.
Well, yeah, I mean, them too, but...
What if, and hear me out here, if I were to be doing research into, this type of thing.
What type of thing?
The mouths, and what makes them produce more nectar.
According to the book that we left with Miss Winston-Rogers, it was depraved acts and potent sacrifice.
Exactly. But we have all seen the size of that thing.
Dear God, if this man's a dentist, I'm going to lose it.
A researcher would need space, a facility, a private facility. They would need to be financed sufficiently to be carrying out gods know what kind of experiments there. I think we may or may not be looking at a front of some sort. A quote-unquote legitimate operation. And in the basement, there's, that.
I mean, it stands to reason, but it doesn't get us any closer to finding the place.
Well, how would you start looking up businesses?
I say we start either with a phone book or in the library. Any kind of local archive. We could find stuff on businesses, news stories, cross-reference the kind of place we're looking for with the one name that we have.
Well, so that sounds
there.
like there's 2 places you could go. One place you could go to City Records office to try to find, property paperwork and businesses under Montgomery Donovan's name. And if you're looking for newspapers, you'd have to go to the library to start looking that up.
Yeah, I've got library use.
I've got bureaucracy. And so does Reggie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I could talk to police and check police records for weird pleasure-seeking behavior.
Okay.
That's a pretty good place to start, too.
I do have cop talk as well now.
Okay, so it sounds like we're splitting up. Is that right?
You sound really excited about that.
Well, no, I'm just trying to move us along to make sure that we're discovering the clues. We want to get to the bottom of this mystery, gang.
You're full of shit, and I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, I was about to say, I can hear that smile in your voice.
I'm smiling because I'm happy about investigating. Honestly, this is me being a little bit of a proud papa, looking down at,
all right.
Oh, look at our investigators figuring this out.
Hey, we're detectives. Let's detect.
Now, of course, I'm also excited about the prospect of you splitting up so I could pick you off one by one. But it's a little early to be doing that.
Please,
a little early to be doing that.
2 by 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, nobody knows we're actually in Malta yet.
I think I'm gonna go with Collin.
All right.
Where's Collin going?
Police records.
Okay. You're going to go look for the police stuff? Okay. And then, and what about JB and Reggie?
I think we're splitting up too, because I want to hit the library. You were going to hit
The city records.
the city records and archive.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And we're all using our respective skills. We're not going to really play out any of the scenes there. I'm just going to tell you sort of the information that you start to gather. I think we get an establishing montage of you guys talking to people around town, looking at stuff, and also, you know, some establishing shots to show that we're actually filming on location, if this is a movie. Just a lot of, like, ooh, look at this fabulous, cool tourist destination.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say, we're not going to play out the scenes. I'm just going to tell you, you don't find anything, get fucked.
No, I said I was proud of your decisions. So, looking at the city records, you turn up, actually, a lot of property and paperwork in Montgomery Donovan's name.
Imagine that.
He has a Harborview townhouse in western Valenta near Great Siege Road.
Burn it down.
There's a yacht registered in his name as well.
Sink it.
And a warehouse is owned by him at the western end of the southern harbor.
Burn it down.
Alrighty.
He might have other things, but these are the things that are listed.
These are the things that we can click on.
Yeah. Also, like, bureaucracy. You have bureaucracy skills. Yes?
I do, yes.
You realize there should probably be more records of this. If this is a man who owns, like, a big fancy townhouse and, like, a warehouse and his own fucking private yacht, he probably owns more things or would have left a larger legal footprint. But that doesn't seem to be showing up.
The local shady guy is shady. What are the odds?
Yeah. You could actually, you could try to talk to the people working at the records office.
I probably will.
Okay.
Call the revenue agency on him.
What sort of interpersonal skill do you think you would use when you're talking to the people here?
Probably start with a reassurance angle.
Yeah. The clerks, a couple different ones tell you, if it's not on the records, I can't help you. And another one says, I'm sorry, I'm not really sure who that is.
You know what? You know what's an interpersonal skill that we hardly ever use? Credit rating. Are any of them willing to take a bribe?
The lower level people are willing to take a bribe, but even as you're sort of like implying to take a bribe, they're like, look, I'd love to do this, but I truly don't know anything.
Fair enough. Can't fault a guy for trying.
Now, if you would like, you could use your credit rating to try to talk to higher level city bureaucracy people. Combination of your credit rating and bureaucracy.
Actually, yeah. We'll go that route, because I have credit rating 4 and bureaucracy.
Okay. The upper tier officials tell you, if it's on the records, I can't help you, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure who that is.
Okay. That's fair.
There's the you don't find anything, get fucked.
Yeah. What does a sus honesty tell me?
The lower level clerks are telling you the truth.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
The upper level clerks are lying to you. Also, you realize probably nothing short of a, like, credit rating 6 bribe, like a life-altering amount of money as a bribe would get you any information here.
That's one way to do it. I do...
No, it's not. You don't have that much
No,
money.
I don't have that much money. But I do have another way... No, I'm not gonna use intimidation. I will take what I have and then I'll...
Why not?
Bad idea.
I think this is the end of this.
Yeah.
one. I think you've reached the end.
Yeah.
Oh.
JB, you go to the local library, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Donovan has kept himself out of the papers almost completely. He only appears in one article that you're able to find.
Royal Opera premieres Weils das Jahrsager.
I butchered the shit out of that. I apologize.
Yeah, it's fine.
Valletta. The Royal Opera House on the Strada Reale conducted a very special premiere of Kurt Weil's Der Jahrsager, which Mro Luigi Cantoni describes as being based on a libretto by the German writer Bertolt Brecht.
You know what, Nathan? I'm going to spare you.
Fair.
What's mostly matters is the article that you were starting to read there is just a description of the opera. What really matters is there is a photo here, and the caption to the photo says...
The evening's fundraising efforts raised record amounts from remarkable glitterati at a gala affair. Montgomery and Portia Donovan are premier donors on the red carpet at the Royal Opera House.
So, there you go. Outside of that, you're not able to find anything in particular, though you do have the address of the Royal Opera House.
I doubt we'll find anything of use there.
Okay.
Well, I'll put a pin in that, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Still, knowing what the guy looks like, that's a good step.
Okay. Meanwhile, you go over to the cops. The other two, right? You wanted to go talk to the police?
Yes.
Yep.
You're using cop talk. What are you asking about? Are you specifically asking about Montgomery Donovan? Or are you asking, yo, what's the crime, yo? Like, what are we talking about?
Yo, what's the crime, yo? I'm trying to track down the nectar trade and trace that back to Donovan. See where it's coming from, who's involved, etc. So I'd like access to police records.
Approaching them with cop talk, they are willing to talk to you.
Nailed it.
But you're really asking about, like, any sort of drugs going on. I guess the question is, do you say nectar? Are you specifically saying, I am looking for nectar? Or are you
I'm
just
not
saying...
sure I'm necessarily even saying drugs. Yeah. I'm looking for kooky cases where maybe somebody was whacked out on something. Something other than the goofy juice.
You're not really able to get any... the normal conversation, you're not really able to get any information about that. There's occasional, like, people taking too much opium around here. Mm-hmm. And really the biggest issue is just sailors drinking too much. Or tourists drinking too much. But you definitely don't hear of anybody taking drugs that make them go into sex-crazed orgies.
Definitely not. May I ask about anything on Montgomery Donovan?
Yes, Montgomery Donovan is one of the most upstanding citizens of this fair city.
Obviously.
Assess honesty.
They don't like you talking about Montgomery Donovan.
Okay.
In fact, they may be curious about why strangers have come to this island and are starting to ask about Montgomery Donovan.
Oh, that's just Lexi. She's like that.
What?
What the fuck?
Oh, you're just saying that her name is not Kay, it's Lexi. We
Correct.
gotta give fake names? Okay, got it.
Dr. Morgan gives Collin a look. I wither Collin with my stare.
Collin withers. R.I.P. Collin.
Nobody learned the wither spell yet, okay? And I don't know if you guys have the stability to be casting spells.
What are you talking about? Reggie's fully stable. Currently.
Sure. Currently.
I've never been more sane.
I'm as stable as a goose on a horse.
Now, sane is a different stat.
Sanity and stability are different stats. It's a very important thing to note.
I know.
Sanity is a thing that you can lose. It's a lot harder to lose, and it's also, like, impossible to regain.
Can I, like, spend a point?
Spend a point of what?
Depends on who I'm talking to. Like, I might want to talk to the chief, if they're available, and then use flattery, perhaps.
If you would like to spend a point of cop talk, I can give you a rundown of what's going on here.
Okay, I shall spend a point of cop talk then.
These guys in the police here, many of them, maybe most of them, are on Donovan's payroll. The way that they are reacting is that of people who want to protect their source of income.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen crooked cops before.
Yep.
You know about crooked cops. These ones are being paid by Donovan. It's probably not a good idea to keep talking to these police officers.
I surreptitiously let Collin know as much, and we bid them good day. I think it's a good idea to leave at this point.
Right there with you.
And then you probably get back together with everybody, unless there's something else any of you guys want to do.
There was actually one more thing that I wanted Reggie to look for whilst at the archives. So, Valletta is essentially an old fort.
Yeah, it's expanded beyond that a little bit, but yeah, it's mostly an old fort.
Reginald would have tried to see if they could find any records or blueprints from the time when it was a fort. Specifically, anything mentioning catacombs or tunnels underneath the streets of the current city.
That is a good instinct. You find out that, yes, there are a lot of catacombs that go underneath the city. However, there are no really currently updated maps. Because of all the construction that goes on, people are constantly going down into the catacombs, filling them up, excavating new ones. There's no current map of the catacombs, like, in the city records. There's old ones. You know, you could try to get, like, a little bit of information from one of that. But there are catacombs that go, at one point, went all underneath this city. Now many of them have been filled up, but there's not quite a full account of where they have all been filled up. Also, there are probably many that are open underneath the city.
These old ones, what's the quality like? Okay? Are they great old ones?
Yes, they're yes.
Shit.
I see what you did there. So good instinct, yes. But no real useful information, no like specific maps.
Yeah. Nothing yet, but seeds of something that may be used.
Yes, absolutely. If there was a specific building you were trying to find, like, stuff for, you might be able to try to find it, but even then it's a long
Yeah, I think the only thing he would have specifically looked for would have been, like, any, like, known entrances. But, I mean, since, like, those are changing all the time anyway, so it wouldn't really be all that accurate.
Yeah. There's a couple from the ocean. Is the easiest way to get to them. The ones that aren't sealed up are usually open to the ocean.
Okay.
Initial investigations, relatively successful. Probably get back together.
Compare notes.
Compare notes. We don't need to play that out unless there's something in particular we want to see.
Collin gives Kay a real quick detective tip. You're dealing with the rich and powerful. You probably don't want to ask directly about the rich and powerful.
Still, to recap, I'd say it was pretty successful because first of all, we learned that the police force is on his payroll. We know what he looks like, and we have a few locations to start looking into.
We also might want to start looking into his spouse.
Yeah, Portia. I can't believe I said Portia. I feel like such a fucking...
It's fine. So, what do you intend to do now?
Hey, Reg, you said you were looking at those catacombs.
Yeah?
Whereabouts is the, what was it, opera house, playhouse?
The catacombs go underneath the entire city. Any of these places could have catacombs underneath them.
Yeah, this place used to be a fort. There's going to be a warren of passageways and tunnels down there.
Even though the whole city has been constructed and reconstructed multiple times?
Well, I mean, there's going to be a bunch of them that are going to end up being closed off, but if I was to put my money on anything, the catacombs are going to need to be something we're going to need to look at.
Absolutely.
Well, you think you can get us into one anywhere near that warehouse?
You gotta wait on the catacombs. I know that we're excited about the catacombs. You don't have enough information to go with there. If that makes sense.
Nope. Grabbing a pickaxe. Mine straight down.
You could do that. Yes.
Never dig straight down.
Lava.
Dig up, stupid.
Yeah, you want to dig down on an angle.
No, my diamonds.
I feel like the warehouse best matches the description of what we're looking for, because while the opera house also would be a good place for him to hide stuff, it's also a public place. The last thing you want is for any number of schmucks to just walk in on your secret eldritch orgy operation.
I mean, if he's a major donor to the opera house, it makes sense that the staff are on,
But it's not just the staff. People go to the opera house who don't work there.
I do want to mention one other thing that I feel like you guys have not thought about. He does have a yacht as well, which is anchored a short distance off the coast.
I remember that.
I do remember that. How big of a yacht is it?
Ooh, fair question.
Yeah, were there any stats on the yacht?
There's like 3 bedrooms on it.
Oh, it's actually a pretty fucking big yacht.
It's got 3 modest cabins, a galley, a sitting room.
You know what? If it was me...
Party boat.
Yeah, exactly. It's a party boat.
All right, Reg, can you get us into the catacombs near that yacht?
Well, we know what kind of parties these people like to throw.
Anyone fancy a swim?
So the question is there a particular place you want to go scope out? Or do we want to split up and scope out different places? Or I guess do you just want to walk the streets and show people the picture and say, have you seen this man? Like, what are we thinking?
Oh, you would love it if we split up, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'm fine with splitting up, but I would also like to establish Well, we know the cult is looking for us, so maybe we ought to establish some fake names. Just in case.
Yeah, now that the police know that we're here, I feel like maybe we shouldn't split up, but...
They don't necessarily know you're here. You haven't given them your names yet, but yeah. So if we're doing fake names, might I suggest the worst thing ever, which is make your fake names be the other players' names in the game we're playing. So JB, your fake name should be Damien, that sort of thing. Just to make this completely unlistenable and completely incoherent.
But to make it super easy on everyone, actually, but easier than that, maybe just like, oh, I've got it. For my fake name, I'll be Nathan. Collin, you'll be Russell.
That's a stupid name. I'm going to be Michael.
I'm up for stoking out the warehouse. I think that's going to be one of our...
I would also like to start with the warehouse.
Yes, please.
One of our most solid leads.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll go check out the yacht.
Oh, come on. Don't. God.
No, you might need some lockpicking.
All right. So the warehouse. Do you go during the day or at night?
Big time night.
Yeah. I think night is the better...
Evening, perhaps?
We're all just pretending we need to do work, watching the sunset. It's like, God damn it. Why can't we just take a vacation here?
Yeah, it's really lovely. It's really nice here.
Shame about the whole orgy, murder, drug cult.
Yeah. So staking out the warehouse is pretty easy. It's just going to take some patience.
Big part of detective work.
What is the plan on how you're going to scope it out? Overall, just as you're looking at it, simply put, it is a cement and corrugated metal building with a few entrances and high closed windows. So that's what you see when you just sort of look at the warehouse. It is right up along the ocean, and there is a chain link fence around it as well.
It is interesting that all his properties that we were able to trace are near the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, this is an island, so...
Yeah, odds are.
It's a pretty good point.
Technically, it's an archipelago, but go on.
Alright, you want to be like that? Alright, motherfucker, okay.
Deal with it.
I'm so fucking tired.
So this is what you see when you just sort of glance at it right away. It's near the ocean. There's a chain link fence.
Does there look to be any, security or anything like that walking around watching the place?
There are security moving around. You would need to get maybe up higher and just sort of look down from a rooftop and watch for a while to figure out, the guard situation. But that's absolutely doable. Somebody wants to stake out the place.
Oh, yeah. Reggie will stake out the place.
Okay.
I will refrain.
Around the time when the sun goes down, going until about midnight or so, the warehouse is especially active. There are 10 or so guards that are patrolling around the grounds.
Oh boy.
They have rifles in hand. They are not just smallly armed. They have full-on rifles ready to shoot anybody who comes in.
Alright, this is, that's bad.
There are 2 men posted on the roof at all times. At least 2. Sometimes 4. And you notice that while they are patrolling, there is a little gravel path that surrounds the warehouse. And then there's just some other dirt and seaweeds, and not seaweed, but sea grasses and other sort of not gravel paths around the warehouse. And the thing that you notice is they never step off the gravel paths.
You know what that tells me? Landmines.
Editor's note. This was followed by everybody agreeing wholeheartedly with Nathan, which sounded like about 15 seconds of silence. We love you, Nathan. Keep it up.
There's definitely something there. Reggie, you said you were in the war,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I'll tell you this is not a place you want to launch a frontal assault on.
Yeah, I kind of gathered.
Sneaking in the back door. Griffith special.
After midnight, does the security seem to become more lax, or is it about the same?
The security seems about the same, but you see less movement and noise from inside the warehouse.
Okay.
Because there's definitely, you see people going in and out of the warehouse, and it seems like maybe a dozen people are in there.
The same amount of people as last time, eh?
Well, yeah, that's an interesting connection that you've made.
I don't like the way you said that, Dan. Oh, God.
That's all you really see. You realize looking at the side of the warehouse, because it is in the harbor area, I guess the harbor master would know, or at least have permits and stuff for this place. I don't know if that would get you too much more than was already in the House of Records, but that could be something from here. But besides that, that's all you could really glean.
Oakley dokley.
So yeah, this place is a fucking fortress.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I would report back to the rest of them. That probably didn't stick around during the whole stakeout process.
Oh, waiting around's a big part of detective work. This is par for the course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would probably relay that, yeah, this place is pretty much a fortress. We're gonna need to get in there, but not through the front door. We need to find a way to sneak in.
2 things. First, to answer Mr. Kilworth, we could conceivably pretend to be guests, celebrants, as it were, if we're thinking that this place is where the cult activities take place.
But we don't know for certain. That'd be a risk.
We might be better off finding Donovan.
That's the second thing I wanted to do. Can I look into Portia Donovan while Reggie is taking out the warehouse?
How would you look into Portia Donovan?
Phone books. I'm gonna look into both Donovans.
They're both in the phone book, and they have the same phone number.
Okay. Address?
It's the manor house that you already knew about.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, I would like to go for a moonlit stroll in the area of that townhouse. Would any of you like to join me?
I'll go with you.
I think I might ask JB and Kearns.
Kearns is supposed to be watching our shit.
Right, yeah, that's fair. Never mind then.
Okay.
It's just like, how good a fighter are you, JB?
I am very good with a knife.
Okay. All right.
That said, I have points in athletics, so I am a big believer in the ultimate way of winning fights. Escape.
Running up and stabbing someone.
Okay, well that too. Give him the old prison handshake, but I say we try to avoid getting into fights for now.
Okay.
This should definitely just be a scoping kind of night.
Yeah, just a little stroll.
The townhouse itself is a fortified townhouse in the northwest. It's located on a hill just south of Great Siege Road, overlooking the waters north of Valenta. And although the townhouse stands right up against the street, it is protected by a big old gate.
Of course.
Is it locked?
Yeah. The thing was probably constructed, or do either of you have architecture?
Damn it.
Okay, don't worry about it. I was just going to tell you when it was constructed. I don't know how useful that is. Looking at the house is fairly easy.
Oh, that's good.
The street out front, a small piazza, which is like a little square, essentially, where you could probably sit all day and not attract attention. At night, you're maybe a little bit more conspicuous, ironically, but because it's dark, you're harder to notice.
Just to be on the safe side, I think loop my arm through JB's elbow, pretend like we're a love-struck couple.
Yeah, that's a classic. Should be easy enough if anyone starts taking an interest in us, we just, pretend we're out here,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we can just start making out.
Yeah, I believe the technical term is canoodling.
There you go.
Yeah.
Reg and Collin maintain their cover the same way.
I love a classic, we have to pretend to be dating, and then you actually fall in love with each other shit.
Except it's well established that the canon couple here is definitely going to be JB and Collin.
Yeah.
And maybe we're moving towards Kearns and Kay, maybe?
Let's be real, this is going to be a polycule by the end of the next session.
That's exactly what the mouths want.
That'd be a great end to this campaign.
No, polycules are not necessarily depraved and sexual. This polycules are fine, I guess. I don't know. Fucking, so the house. This house you see.
We have devolved.
I prefer degenerated.
Could they just say that Kay absolutely assumes that JB is gay, so she's like, doesn't even consider, it's like, don't take this the wrong way, let's pretend that we're a couple, blah, blah, blah. She just, just grabs him by the elbow, keeps walking.
I will note, though, at night, you don't really see anybody going in. You don't see anybody going out.
Is there security? Do we see maybe people through the gate? Or...
There's one guard by the gate. Besides that, I need you to make me a stealth check to get closer to see.
All right.
Group check?
I could just have one of you make the check.
I also have some stealth.
So the way it works is for the pooling is one of you makes the check and spends an extra point to pay for the other person.
Okay.
Then you just make the roll for both of you. Because it is night, the difficulty is going to be 4 on the stealth check.
Yeah, I'll burn 2 points for that. 5.
Yay!
Yay.
Not a ton you could see from this far out. There is a roving sentry that you see. The house itself is 4 stories tall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this guy's rich.
And you occasionally see movement on the 4th floor, and a face peeks out. Without binoculars, you're not going to really be able to tell anything more than that.
Is the face attached to a person?
You assume it is.
Seemingly.
Well,
Yeah.
with this, in this adventure, with this monster, you can't be too sure, you know?
I have preparedness. Can I have binoculars on me?
Okay, make a preparedness roll.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty 4.
I'm gonna spend 2 points. 4.
Okay, you have some binoculars.
Yay.
That's not going to be particularly low-key, but you did make your stealth roll, so. Looks like a security guard is moving around on the top floor.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're looking around, as you're examining, tell me what skills you or JB could be using as you're examining this.
Well, there's evidence collection.
So as you're looking at it, you notice that the building has been scrubbed on the outside. It is clean to an unusual degree.
Mm.
Interesting.
JB, I'm going to give you this because you're actually going to use your electrical repair, which is not usually an investigative skill. But you notice that electricity is a relatively recent addition to this structure, just from looking at the wires that are going around and stuff. If you were to get into, like, the garage on the lowest floor, you might be able to cut power off to this whole building for a time.
That's a good thing to know.
Do either of you have explosives?
Oh, one second.
No. I've got history. Does that help me?
No, not really. But the building's not going anywhere, so you can look at it another time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's all you're really getting right now. You notice that there are gargoyles on each of the corners of the house. That seems important.
Okay. Does my knowledge of art help?
Ooh.
Or my knowledge of art history? Because that's sculpture.
That is sculpture. You are right. That is sculpture.
I don't know. If it's functional, it might be architecture.
I also do have art and history.
Those are German-style gargoyles. Those are not consistent with the architecture around here. They're not consistent with the sort of art that would be around here. They are really out of place.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And in fact,
I don't like that.
most gargoyles sort of like have their heads sort of down. These ones, you notice just because it's odd. This isn't usually how gargoyles are made. They seem to be very deliberately like looking out. It's like they're looking at the yard.
Well, I think it's safe to say we all know where this is going. So,
Yep.
One last thing, as you're looking at them. Their mouths are open. And their mouths are full of disgusting teeth. And for a moment, it really looks like the mouth opens and closes a couple of times.
let's get the fuck out of here.
Thanks for listening. Daniel was our Trail of Cthulhu GM. Nathan plays J.B. Falk, the hapless writer. Renee plays Kay Morgan, the widowed professor. Damien plays Reginald Kilworth, the traumatized vet. And Russell plays Collin Kane, the soft-boiled detective, in addition to editing, sound design, and etc. Our main theme is by Claire L.W. on Bandcamp. Our album art is by Trinity the Tea Time Witch, and additional music is performed, and if you want to be generous, written by Renee and myself. Did you know we do other stuff? The last Sunday of every month, we run a live-streamed one-shot over on YouTube, and at the end of April, we'll be running a 24-hour extra live stream, because our minds are finally starting to go, and we might as well hasten their ends. You can find out more on our Discord, which you can find a link to if you are strong of will and stout of character. Thanks for again, as always, listening again. Some more for listening, and until next time. I don't know if anybody listens to this bit, so now I've made it weird. Renee painted the Nectar Chamber from the last episode, and it's on our website. Obviously, it's not safe for work, but check it out if you'd like.